right, so good afternoon, everybody. We are starting this topic 4 today. In fact, it's not a topic, it's not a separate topic, it's a sub-part of your risk management topic. In the first sub-part, we did 2 important financial hedging tools, risk management tools, and that was currency forwards and the currency futures. But today, we shall do the last one. I got a very interesting message from Anastasia. She's very practical. Anastasia, am I right? She says that, will you upload list of possible questions week before the exam like you did last semester? Okay, that's interesting. Did I upload anything? Oh yes, in economics, I did, yes. All right, so who takes the responsibility of reminding me about it? Somebody has to remind me, otherwise I'll forget. Believe me, I'm very forgetful. Sometimes I pretend to be very forgetful. All right, yeah, I'll do that. I will do that, yeah, but somebody keep in mind to remind me. Right, so where were we? We were discussing that your first topic was, we did something about the basic accounting. In the second part, we did this ratio analysis, which was basically financial health check of the company. Just to let you know that, broadly speaking, there are 2 methods of analyzing a company's health. The one is the fundamental analysis. The fundamental analysis is based on the historic data. You see it from the company's annual reports, their financial statements. So you are digging the graves, and based on the company's past performances, you are making that, hey, where are the strengths, where are the weaknesses, which strength can be capitalized to form as a opportunity, and which weakness could turn out to be a threat. That's what you do based on the fundamental analysis. So basically, the task 1 which you have done is a fundamental analysis. The second task, the second way of looking at the company's financial health is called technical analysis. In the technical analysis, we believe that history is rubbish. You are as good as last time. We don't believe in the history, okay? We rather see the present. So look at the nature. In the fundamental analysis, which you have done in task 1, you are looking in the past, analyzing something today, and making some kind of forecast for the future. In the technical analysis, which is based primarily on the stock prices, and may I tell you that those people who are studying financial management, they're doing it. And those who will study this finance track, they will do it more extensively. But the point I'm trying to make is that in case of technical analysis, you are looking things today, you don't look in the past, and you make some kind of educated, sophisticated analysis to see the company in the future. So the stock price or the market analysis or the technical analysis is more futuristic, whereas the accounting analysis is more historic. But of course, history is very important. History repeats itself, though we never learn from it, but it does repeat. So what we are doing now, so after we go beyond this technical analysis / the fundamental analysis, which you people did, now we are in the next stage when we are making some kind of risk management. I will never say risk elimination, because there is no way you can eliminate the risk. The risk come from foreseeable factors. Risk come from the foreseeable factors are which you can forecast, and what you can forecast are within the company and outside the company. But still, there are some unforeseeable factors which can surprise you, really, really. And who know better than we people what type of this COVID, this coronavirus thing? Nobody expected. It came from just as a bolt from the blue. and it took everybody by surprise. World economy was growing, things were very positive. American economy was growing pretty much. The emerging economy stocks were rising. Things were going better. And even if you look at the Finnish economy in the last 3 years, there has been a positive growth, very marginal growth, but a positive growth. The employment was rising until a few weeks ago. Okay, so there are some risks which take you, which just sway you, which surprise you, and those risks are totally unforeseeable. So therefore, we can never say that we are able to eliminate risk. All we can do is the risk management. The risk management can be done by different ways, and I don't want to go too much into that, but the most traditional, the most common tools and techniques of financial risk management we are doing now. In the part 1, topic 3, we did financial futures and the financial forwards. The difference between, I can very quickly tell you that the financial forwards and the financial futures are that the financial futures are more affected by the market every day. Every day you have exposure to the market. And that's why we use the phrase marked to market. On the other hand, you can refer to the spreadsheet which I uploaded last week. On the other hand, we have the financial forward, which is very static. Something happens today, something will happen on the day of maturity, nothing happens in between, no impact of the market. Okay, plus the, what was that? Yeah, and plus you lock in forwards, you can never come out of it. Whereas the financial futures, you don't do any locking in. In fact, I think I said, it's my guess. If you want to get more details, go to the Bank of International Settlements website. It's BIS.org. It's a financial, it's a fantastic source of information about what's going on in the financial world. You will see in that website that almost more than 99% of the financial futures, they are never honored till the end of the deadline. So you actually take the opposite position most often before the deadline is over. The reason is that for the forwards, you are more like you're defending yourself. You are a defender. You defend yourself, you defend your cash flows, cash outflows and cash inflows, which will take place after months or after years. Whereas your attitude is very aggressive. You are like a forward, like a very aggressive forward in a football match. And you want to be the beneficiary of the favorable stock, the market movements, which can actually go against you. But of course, we take a risk. So you are more aggressive. The mindset is very different. And by the way, when I say futures and the forwards, you can do futures forwards for all types of risks. You can do for inflation. You can do for the commodities. You can do for the interest rate. You can even do for the environmental. Like for example, in the US, you can buy the bonds which are safeguarding you against the, or the options you can buy which can safeguard you against the environmental risk. So you can even have the financial insurance against any floods if your factory is close to the coastal areas, or you can even have some kind of financial insurance against the earthquakes or these kind of natural catastrophes. But of course, I have to take one example at a time. So I thought that maybe the currency is the best example which I can take up. So this is something I have wrapped up everything. This is the one message. No risk would mean no reward. Yes, Yarko. Life is like this only. Yeah? All right. So we go to the options. A bit of technical things about options, which nothing I can explain. much, but just some historic things. The currency options markets, actually, the biggest market which you can see is Chicago Board of Options Exchange, and it's in the US. And but once I came across a book, and the book, only thing I could read was options, but the book was in Flemish. So I have to contact some of my colleagues who are in Netherlands, and I asked them that, hey folks, can you help me that what it says basically? Because only thing I could read was that options, and they said that the options, the Netherlands or the Amsterdam stock exchange was the first one in the, I think it was the 18th century, early 18th century, when they introduced options, the mechanism. So it's a very old instrument. But if you look at the latest situation, then the American markets are, quite strong. Once again, the purpose is hedging and speculation. Hedging is that you want to defend yourself. Speculation is that you want to take the bull by the horn. You want to play aggressive. And so both ways. So it's like if you see the purpose of forward, the purpose of the forward was hedging, purely hedging. The purpose of futures was a little bit of hedging, but basically more of speculations of the currency futures. But for the options, it's both. You can play 50-50 into hedging and speculation. So you're more like a midfielder who can help the forward and can also defend the help the goalkeeper and the fullbacks. That's a bit of history. The currency options have a common feature of forwards and the futures. If you look at the first paragraph, the standard option is traded on exchange. So there is some stock exchange, not a stock exchange, but some kind of option exchange, like we had the future exchange. So this can be a market traded contract, but at the same time, this can also be over the counter, like the forward was. So it can be a market traded contract like the currency future, or it could be over the counter like forward, where you only agree with the bank. And everything is customizable. So the specified currency, you can choose the specified amount, you can choose, you can negotiate the specified time period of expiry you can pick up, and also the rate of exchange, specified exchange rate. Okay, you can, but once it becomes specific, you can negotiate with the bank, then it becomes OTC. But if you take it or leave it, like you do in the market, when you buy something from the big mall, you never bargain, you never make anything customized, you just take it or leave it. Then it's more like a market traded contract, like the futures. Okay, so the options can be both similar to futures, like they are trading in the market, and the options can also be similar to the forward, which is more like a tailor-made contract between the customer, the company, and the bank. Okay. Yeah, there are some other things which collateral may be required. These are not very. When you understand the concept, these things you will grab automatically. Here we go. When I use the word option in the non-financial spectrum, option means in the normal language, hey, you have the option not to do the homework. Hey, you have option to take this route or that route. You have the option, you have the same ticket, but you have the option to go in any train. So basically, the option is revealing some sort of choice you have. So same element of choice also exists for the financial options as well. For example, when you buy the forward, there's no option. You are going to pay an Australian company 20 million Australian dollars. You make a deal with your bank. You make a deal with the bank. You honor it. There is no looking back. The same thing is in case of the financial futures, that if you buy something, you sell it. If you sell something, you buy it. But here, there's an option. The option gives you the right to buy or right to sell, but no obligation. There's absolutely no obligation. For example, I want to buy 20 million Australian dollars in the month of June, 15th of June, 2020. I want to buy 20 million Australian dollars because I have to pay them, because I buy something from Australia. The contract price is that 1 Australian dollar is equal to 90 European cents. So 1 Australian dollar is equal to 0.90 euro. And my contract will expire on 15th of June 2020. I sign it today, but it will expire on 15th of June 2020. But see what happens. When 15th of June comes, I see that the market rate is 1 Australian dollar is equal to 75 European cents. 75. Whereas my contract with the bank or my broker is that 1 Australian dollar is equal to 90 cents. So my contract price is more expensive, whereas I can buy the Australian dollar cheaper from the market. It's just 75 cents, whereas my contract is 90 cents. I just forget that I have the option contract. It gives me right, but there's no obligation to follow it. Okay, but now so it means that I will not use the option contract. I will not even do anything basically. I just, okay, oh, all right, let's leave it. But if on 15th of June 2020, 1 Australian dollar is 1.20 euros, whereas I have the contract with my financial broker or the bank, is that 1 Australian dollar is equal to 90 cents, that is 0.90 euros. Then my contract price is cheaper than the market price, so I'll go for. Then I would go with the option. So in options, you are like a fair weather friend. If it suits you, you take it. If it doesn't suit you, you don't take it. You have the right, but nobody is forcing you to. So there is no locking in at all in options, whereas the locking in is the main key point of the financial forwards. That's the beauty of the options, that you have the option basically to go for it or just leave it. Leave it. It's your choice if it suits you. But I'll come to this point more in a more detailed when I. So that's the main gist or the crux or the idea of the options. Well, there's always an expiration date. The example which I just gave you, 15th of June, I said, yeah. 15th of June is the expiration date, the deadline or whatever date. The strike price or the exercise price is the contract price, which we agree. Like in this example, when I go to the bank, if it is a OTC contract, or the contract I sign with the broker, if it is a market contract, that 1 Australian dollar would be equal to 0.90 euro. This is called the strike price or the exercise price or the contract price. Interestingly, options can be American and European. Now, American options and the European options have nothing to do with the geographical location at all. The only thing is that American options you can exercise on the deadline and even before the deadline. So in this example, which I gave you, that I sign a contract on 16th of April 2020, and the deadline is 15th of June 2020. And if I want to walk away from this contract, if I find something favorable position and I want to take my position, then I can do it anytime between 16th of April 2020 and 15th of June 2020. Nobody can stop me. So it's a flexible. So it's more like futures, because if you remember in the futures also, you can take an action at any point of time. Whereas the European options are more like forwards, rigid. You can only exercise the option or not exercise the option. This decision you only make at the maturity time. So you can never decide before the expiration date that whether you will be exercising the option or you will not be exercising the option. So by nature, option is having the mixture of forward and the future elements, but American options are more like future, whereas the European options are more like forward by nature. Okay, this is the background before I go more into details. We have two categories of options. The first option is called currency call options. Call option gives you the right but not obligation to buy a specific currency at a specific price, which is exchange rate, at a specific time period. So there are four specificities. That specific currency, let's say the example I gave you, I want to buy 20 million Australian dollar. So in this case, the specific currency would be Australian dollar, specific amount, 20 million, specific time period, up to 15th of June 2020, and the specific rate of exchange is 1 Australian dollar is equal to 0.90 euro. But see, it gives me right but not obligation to buy. So when I want to buy something, I would be using call options. The first characteristic you should understand is that it's a right but no duty, no obligation. And secondly, the call options we use to buy something. So for example, when you sell something to Canada, the money will come to you. You will not use call option. Call option we only use when you are going to pay somebody. When you are going to receive something in the future, then you will be using the put options. I can show you, there's a word called put option. Where is that? No, it's here. Put options. Okay, so when you are an exporter, seller, you use put options. But when you are a buyer, when you are a, where is that? Yeah. When you are a buyer, importer, you use the call option. Invariably, in both cases, you have the right but no obligation. Let me explain it more. Imagine you are going to buy something from Great Britain. You make a contract with this British company that you will buy some IT solutions or some machinery. You will make a payment. I will not name that how much amount, because that will complicate the example. So you will be making some payment. The payment will be made after 1 year. So long time, and the pound can, and you will be making the payments in pound. And if you keep your position open, naked, unhedged, uninsured, with no risk management, then the pound fluctuation can affect you very badly. If the pound goes up, appreciates, it can actually kill your cash flows. Okay, so what you do, you can either have an option, OTC, like a forward, that you go to a bank and you make a deal with the bank that, hey, can I buy an option? Not forward this time, but can I buy the option from you? Because forward is too compulsive, too rigid, but I want to buy some flexibility in it. Okay, well, you can do with the bank, or you go to some broker, some stock market or some option market, and you find some agent or a broker. So you can buy some market-driven option, call option, which is more like the financial futures. But anyway, whatever is the scenario, you have to agree with one strike price or the exercise price, what I use in the definition as a specific rate of exchange, or the contract price. So the contract price in either situation, whether you go to the bank, OTC type, or you go to the broker, more like a market type, the strike price is that £1 is equal to $1.50. So let's assume that you are in the US. So the home currency is American dollar, and you want to buy pound. So £1 is equal to 1.50. That's your contract price. But there are no free lunches in finance. You can't just buy this contract. In fact, you pay the premium or the price of option. So the premium or the price of option, premium and price are synonyms. The premium or the price of option is 2 American cents, or $0.02 for each pound. And please remember that all else being equal, let me close this window. All else being equal, the premium that you pay for the options will be higher than forwards and futures. You know why? Because you have an add-on function in options that you have the right but no obligation. In the forwards, you have the right but even worse, obligations. You can't walk out of the contract. Similarly, in the futures, you can't walk out. You buy something, you have to sell it. You sell something, you have to buy it. Even though the only flexibility in the futures is that you don't have to wait till the end of the period. Okay, but that's also having some kind of compulsion element. Whereas here, you have the no obligation at all, only rights. So therefore, all else being equal, the premium of the options by logic should be higher than the premium or the transaction cost or the registration fee or the contract fee you paid for you pay for the forwards and the futures. Okay, now situation happens. Imagine you are planning to make a decision to exercise the option. What is the exercise? Exercise is that you have the right to buy a pound equal to 1.50 American dollar. That's your strike price. Imagine you are thinking either you are waiting till the end of the period or you are going to make a decision in between, and you find that the market price is 1.46. The market price is 1.46. It means that you can buy a pound for 1.46 American dollar. Can I ask you, will you exercise the option or will you not?
Of course.
Sorry, say again?
Of course, I will get out of the option and buy it cheaper.
Okay, so you will not exercise the option. Am I right?
Yes, I will bail out from the option.
So, okay, so I'm trying to put words in your mouth that will you exercise the option or will you not?
I will not.
You will not. Great. When you don't exercise the option, look, there's a loss of 2 cents here. Can you see a loss of 2 cents?
Yeah, but how if the price is 140? Wait, what? I didn't get it.
Okay, I can explain it. Let's even more simplify the example. Let's say that this option which you buy, whose contract price is £1 is equal to $1.50. It's a OTC option. It means that it says a fixed date. It's a European option, fixed date. And on the fixed date, now you are going to make a payment to the to this British company. Sorry, in this case, it's a British company because it's a pound. And you see that, hey, my strike price is that I can buy a pound for 1.50 US dollars. But out of curiosity, you see that if I have to buy £1 from the market, how much will it cost? And you check that the market price is 1.46. Obviously, the market price is cheaper. When the market price is cheaper, you prefer market and you don't have to buy from the broker at 1.50 because option gives you the right but no obligation to buy. The call option gives you, in this example, the call option gives you the right to buy a pound for 1.50 US dollar, but it doesn't compel you. But to buy this right, when you sign the contract with a bank, you have paid a premium of 2 American cents for every £1. And this premium you have paid in advance when you signed the contract in the beginning. But now we are talking the expiry date. Now we are at the end of the period and we are going to make a decision. Should we buy a pound from the bank or should we compare it or buy from the market? You see that on that day means the deadline, the market is offering you a pound for 1.46 American dollars, whereas you can buy at 1.50. So obviously the market is cheaper, way cheaper. 4 cents is a big amount. You say, I will not buy from the broker, I will buy the pound from the market. But guess what? When you make a decision, it's a good decision. You should definitely go for it because why should you pay more price? But then in the option contract, I repeat, but then when you choose to buy from the market, then in the option contract, you have lost 2 cents. Because this money, 2 cents, you paid in advance and you bought the right. Okay, but now because you are not exercising the option, fair enough, it's your choice, but you can never ask the bank to give you back 2 cents, which you gave as a price to buy the option or the premium to buy the option. So it's your choice to exercise the option or not to exercise the option. But if you choose not to exercise the option, then you can't ask bank that, hey, because I have the right not to use the option, can you give my the advance which I paid you or the fee which I paid you, 2 cents? They say, no, it's not possible. So even though you made a good decision, but you have lost 2 cents of the premium you paid in advance, and we call it the premium paid upfront. It's like a technical phrase. It's a business jargon. We say the premium is paid upfront. So the upfront premium, which you have paid in the beginning of the contract, will not come back to you. You made a great decision of not exercising the option because the market price is way cheaper. But then in the process, you have lost 2 cents as well. So imagine the market price is not 1.46, but 1.48 American dollar for each pound. Will you still exercise the option or will you not exercise the option when the market price is 1.48? You will not. The reason is that you exercise the option or you don't exercise the option. This 2 cent is a separate thing. But when you compare the market price 1.48 and 1.50, the market price seems to be cheaper, 1.48. I wish I could have written here 1.48 here, but there is a line in between. So this average, so 1.46, 1.50, the average is 1.48. Because it's much cheaper, you're saving 2 cents to buy the option. But if you had, so basically, when the market price is 1.48, you are paying 1.48 and you're also bearing the loss of 2 cents. So altogether, a pound will cost you 1.50. But if you exercise the option, you pay for a pound 1.50, plus you have paid the premium in the beginning too. Remember, the premium is paid in the beginning. The decision is made later on. So then the pound will cost you 1.52. 1.50, the strike price plus the premium, 2 cents, 1.52 for each pound. But if you not exercise the option, then it costs you 1.48 plus the 2 cents of premium. So it's 1.50 altogether. 1.50 altogether is less. 1.52 altogether is more. You choose not to exercise the option. You choose to buy from the market, but in the process, in the hindsight, you feel that this 2 cent is a loss, which is equal to the premium. Okay, and when the market price is 1.50, now it's an interesting situation. Now it's an interesting situation. When the market price is 1.50 and the strike price is also 1.50, you can see that this line is flat, but here is an edge. So here is a situation. The situation is that if you choose to buy from the market, you pay this 1.50, and then you also bear the loss of 2 cents, which you paid in the beginning. So a pound will cost you 1.52. Okay. Here, if you choose to buy from the broker, it costs you again 1.52 because you pay the strike price 150 plus 2 cent premium. So even though the cost is altogether same, 1.52, 1.52, but you still consider this 2 cent as a loss, because that's, had you known in the very beginning, had you known that the market price would be 1.50, then you would have never bought this option contract in the first place. So therefore, up to this level, the price is, you will not exercise the option. So you have to, in either case, you lose 2 cents. At 1.50, you may buy from the broker. It will cost you 1.52. You may buy from the market. It will still cost you 1.52. So basically, it's like a point of indifference. But whatever is the situation, if you choose to buy from the broker, then you buy 2 cents more expensive, because 1.52 is more than 1.50. But if you choose to buy from the market, then you have to surrender the 2 cent premium, which you paid in the beginning. So either way, you would be losing 2 cents. So the point I'm trying to make is that as long as the market price is less than the strike price, you will never exercise the option. So basically, on the left-hand side of this 1.50, 1.47, 1.46, 1.48, 1.49, 1.45, you must not exercise the option. And when the strike price is same as the market price, like 150, 150, then you are in a state of indifference. Now I want to create a situation for you, and this, now you have to keep your mind very fresh. Imagine the market price is 1.51, 1.51, which could be somewhere here. Will you exercise the option or will you not? The market price is 1.51. The contract price is 1.50. The premium you have paid is 2 cents already in the beginning. So when the market price is 1.51, will you exercise the option or will you not?
I mean, if the market price was 1.51, doesn't it would still leave basically 1 cent of the premium sort of dangling as a loss? Well, like personally, I would not exercise it yet. I would only exercise it if it was, well, basically over 1.52 and over 1.52. If I were to exercise it at 1.52, I would basically get zero, like I would basically just get mine back, so to speak. But at 1.51, no, not still. I wouldn't do it.
So you will not exercise Yarko, yeah?
I don't think it would be sensible to do it.
Okay. What if I say that I will do?
I would to exercise.
Could you, Annika, would you say that why would you exercise it at 1.5?
Because if the market price is 1.51, then you have to still pay the 2 cent premium.
Exactly,
so then it
that's
will
the point. Yeah.
become 1.53.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. I would buy at 1.51. I will not buy from the market. I will buy from I will exercise the option and I will buy from the broker. I'll tell you why. If you buy from the market, you pay 1.51 to the whosoever sells you in the market. It could be Thomas and Cook, it could be MoneyGram, whatever is the shop. What we see, those, what is the name? I forgot the name. Anyway, you buy it. There are many shops in the airport, for example. I pay them 1.51, but then I have paid 2 cent premium in the beginning. So it means that altogether I pay 1.51 to this currency shop, and then 2 cent I paid to the broker in the beginning. So it cost me 1.53. It cost me 1.53. But if I buy from the broker, he will only take 1.50 plus the 2 cent is already given to him. So basically, I will not even look at, Anika, when you know the whole concept, I will not even count 2 cents to make a decision to exercise or not exercise, because 2 cents will cost you anyways. You exercise the option, you don't exercise the option, this 2 cent premium is pre-included in the contract. Okay, so I would only see that if the strike price is less than the market price, I will exercise the option, because look, when the market price is 1.51 and I buy from the broker, then guess what happened? I earn 1 cent because the market price is more, the strike price is less. I save 1 cent, but I paid the premium in the beginning, 2 cents. So I save 1 cent, I have paid 2 cents. So my loss is basically 1 cent. So if I can fictitiously draw a line here at 1.51, then the loss would be 1 cent. So by exercising the option, my loss is 1 cent, but by not exercising the option, I would lose 2 cent premium straight away. So even though there is a loss in both situations, but by exercising the loss is less, but by not exercising the loss is more. And economic theory tells us that if you have two situations, both are lossful, you pick up that which has less loss. And the less loss is by exercising the option. Because by exercising the option, the pound will cost me 1.52. But by not exercising the option, the pound will cost me 1.51 plus 2 cents, 1.53. Okay, so when I exercise the option, I save 1 cent, but then, of course, I have paid the premium upfront, so my loss in this contract is 1 cent. So if you not exercise the contract, you would lose 2 cents, but if you exercise the contract, you lose 1 cent. So you save a loss of 1 cent. So basically, it's better. Yarko, it makes sense now?
Yeah, it does now.
Mm-hmm. What about 1.52? Will you exercise the contract or will you not? When the market price is 1.52, but the strike price, the option contract price is 1.50, will you exercise or will you not? You will. Because if the market price is 1.52 and you buy from the market, the pound will cost you 1.54. Okay, but if you don't buy from the market and you buy from, this broker, it costs you 152. You save 2 cents basically, but this 2 cent is exactly equal to the premium. So your gain and loss cancel out, and you can see that at the market price 1.52, you are having a zero payoff, which means that neither you gain anything nor you lose anything. But if you don't exercise the option, you would definitely lose 2 cents. Okay, so here 0 is better than -2. So you will exercise the option. And then as you go up, you will, for sure, you will be exercising the option, because imagine the market price is 1.60 or £1, and the strike price is 1.50. Definitely you save 10 cents minus the premium, 8 cents, still cheaper. You save 8 cents altogether, which is really cool. So if you look at this graph, this thick black line, when this thick black line is horizontal to the x-axis, you would never exercise the call option. When the line is at the angle just below 150, and this 150 is the strike price, so they are same. Market price is 150, strike price is 150. When the market price and the strike price are same, then you are in a catch-22 situation. Okay, because both are same, basically. So you lose the same amount. So it doesn't really make any difference. You can go for the broker or you buy from the market. The loss is same, inevitable, 2 cents. But when this line becomes angular like this, going upwards, and the line is going upwards, you must exercise the option, even though it can be a loss, but this loss would be less loss than the loss then you don't exercise the option. And here at 1.52, the loss is 0. And this is called break-even point, when your loss is 0. No profit, no loss. And shouldn't say profit. No gain, no loss. And further up, it's always a positive gain. So basically, on this curved, on this angular line, you must exercise the option. And see, Anika answered that at 1.51, we should exercise the option, even though there's a loss. But that loss of 1 cent would be less lossful than the 2 cent loss if we don't exercise the option at all. So one thing which I want you to learn, it's very important that exercising the option is not always gainful. It can be gainful, it may not be gainful. But even though you exercise the option in a loss, that loss would be less lossful if you don't exercise the option at all. Because here, by exercising the option, you lose 1 cent. But if you don't exercise the option, you lose 2 cents. So even in the loss, it's wise to exercise the option. But here, if the loss is equal to the premium, then you never exercise the option. So we have 3 scenarios. On the left side of this line, of this angle, you never exercise the option. On this increasing path of this thick line, you must exercise the option. And the third point is just below the strike price. Here, you may exercise, you may not exercise. So it's more like a point of indifference. Okay, this is the mechanism of the call option. But here you see the most remarkable thing, if you notice, is that your upside gain is unlimited. Can you see here? There is no limit to this line going upwards. So basically, you can gain infinite amount. And I wrote here, upside gain is unlimited. But your downside loss is limited. It means that you can never lose more than 2 cents. Because if you lose more than 2 cents, you just forget the option. You say, hey, because that's the premium you pay. So the maximum amount you can lose is 2 cents equal to premium. And you can see that your loss is limited, equal to 2 cents, which is the premium. But your gain is not limited. It can go up to any extent. That's a very important point to notice. Yeah. One more thing I want to share with you based on this exhibit, that we have 3 phrases: option, out of the money. We call it OTM. Don't ask me why it's called out of the money. It's a phrase, out of the money. Out of the money option is when you never exercise the option. And we just came to the conclusion that on this angular point of 1.50, below 1.50, on the left side of this, we never use the option. We never exercise the option. So the option is out of the money. So when you say, hey, the option is OTM, it means that you lost the premium, basically. No, you will not use, you will buy from the market. When the point is just below the strike price, 1.50 in this case, then option is called ATM, at the money. At the money means you exercise or you don't exercise, it makes no difference because you would lose the premium anyways. When the option is at this angular increasing trajectory of this thick line, we call option ITM, in the money option. In the money option means you must exercise the option, whether it's a loss or a gain. Even if it is a loss, this loss would be still lesser than the loss you would have by not exercising it. So we discovered three, these are not theoretical words, these are the business jargons. OTM, out of the money, don't exercise at all. ATM, so where is OTM? On the left side, just see the cursor, just on the left side. So when the market price is below the strike price, we never exercise the call option. Then comes at the money, ATM. When the strike price 150 is exactly equal to the market price, the spot price, the spot rate, then it's at the money. And if the market price is more than, market price means the spot price, the spot rate is more than the exercise price, then the option is in the money, ITM. So on the left side, on the horizontal line, it's OTM, out of the money. At the angular point, it's ATM, at the money. And on the rising section, it's called ITM, in the money option. Okay. So we go further. This picture, if you see, this I call as a payoff. Payoff means whether how much you gain, how much you lose. This is for the buyer of call option. Buyer of the pound call option, because in this example we took pound, British pound here. So this is for the buyer, the one who buy. For example, if I'm an American company and I imported something from Britain and I will make them payment in pounds, then I'm the buyer. Okay? This is for me. For me, my gain is unlimited, potential gain, not the actual, but the potential gain. And my loss would never be more than premium. It's good for me. But what about the seller of the call option, the bank? This payoff is from the seller's point of view. Everything is same, but if you see that the seller, the bank, would not gain, would never gain more than 2 cents. And that gain is the premium. The only time the bank would gain from this option contract is that when the customer does not buy from the bank, but rather buy from the market. It means when the option is cancelled, when the option is out of the money, when the customer prefers not to go to the bank, but rather buy it cheaper from the market, the £1. That is the gain of when the option is out of the money, it's a loss to the buyer, but it's a gain to the seller, right? Seller is also, seller mean the bank in this example. Seller is also called sometimes writer of the option, writer, the one who writes. And the buyer, the company, is also called the bidder of the option, the one who bid. The bid, BID, and the writer, the seller. Anyways, so when the option is out of the money, then it's a gain to the bank. And when the option becomes in the money, means the customer start coming to the bank and start exercising the option, then the loss, the gain can be reducing, or it can even be a loss to the bank. For example, now in this example, I see myself from the banker's point of view. Let's say that I'm a bank. I gave you the option, you got the option from me, the bank, that you will be buying a a pound for 1.50 American dollar. The market price on the day of decision making is 1.60. It means that I could have sold it for 1.60 in the market, but I'm selling it to you for 1.50. So basically it's my loss. But if the market price is 1.46, you would never come to me because you find 1.46 cheaper than 1.50. Then the premium that you gave to me is my gain in the option contract. Remember, I'm talking about gain and loss with respect to the option contract as such. Okay, so if you see this picture and this picture, can you compare something? This picture, if I just put in the mirror, like the mirror reflection, it becomes this. So basically, the payoff of the seller of the pound option, pound call option, I shouldn't say option, it's a call option specifically. For the call option, for the seller, the payoff is exactly a mirror reflection of the payoff which the buyer has. Okay, so when the buyer loses, the seller gains. And here the maximum, for example, for the buyer, the maximum loss was 2 cents. For the seller, the maximum gain is 2 cents. And when the buyer start gaining, the seller start losing. But one important characteristic is that for the buyer of the call option, the loss is limited, the downside is limited, but the potential gain or the upside is unlimited. But for the seller of the option, the gain is limited, but the potential loss, the downside is unlimited. I wrote it here as well. So this is how the option work for the buyer and the seller. But then the question is that who are you then? Why would you buy the option contract? Well, you have both motivation. You are having a defensive mechanism. You want to buy something from Britain, and it will be expensive if you don't keep yourself protected. But at the same time, you also want to be the speculator, and you want to bet against the pound price, or both. So you have both purposes. You want to be a beneficiary of the market movements, the market mechanism, but at the same time, you want to keep yourself protected, hedged. Okay, and this is what I just wrote in the money option, at the money option, and out of the money option when the option is not exercised. So this is basically everything about the call option. If you want to see the real market data of call option, you can have a look. Okay, you can see these pages online. This Wall Street Journal is a fantastic source of information of the options prices. Yeah, of the option. Yeah. Okay. So in case you're interested in the market data, you can have a look at this. I am deliberately ignoring slide 9, 10, and 11. I'm doing it on purpose, okay? If I have some time, I'll come back to it. Otherwise, I would ignore them. So they will not come in the exam. I want to take you to straight away to, rather I'm ignoring 9, 10, 11, 12, 4 slides I'm ignoring. So let's go straight away to an example. And listen to this example very carefully. There is a US company who is planning to bid. So you are a company which is based in the US and you are planning to buy a company. And if you are successful in buying this company, you would be needing 200,000 Canadian dollars. So the company you are bidding for is in Canada. And you make your interest, what is it called? What is the word called? Memorandum of Intention, MOI. So you send your intention that, hey, we want to buy you. And you know for sure that if your bid is successful, you would be needing 200,000. There's always many people are interested in the bidding. So then there is some kind of lottery system, and the one who gives the lowest bid or the one who is selected becomes the winner of the company. This is how the system works in many countries. But this result you will never know before 3 months. Okay, so what you do, you buy 2 option contracts. Well, of course you can buy forwards and the futures, but they're a little bit strange because you don't know that you will even need the option contract. So you don't really know if you need the option contract. So you go for the option. You buy 2 contract. Why we buy 2 contract? Because the size of 1 Canadian dollar contract is 100,000 Canadian dollars. Anyway, that's not a problem. If the exercise price is 1 Canadian dollar is equal to 0.855. So it means that you make a deal with the bank that, Mr. Banker, I need a call option, a Canadian call option for 200,000 Canadian dollars. And the rate which is offered to you is 1 Canadian dollar is equal to 0.855 American dollar. I wrote here to note down that if it is a direct quote or indirect quote. About direct quote and indirect quote, I can only say this thing, that when you write the exchange rate, your domestic currency should always be on the right side. So if I quickly give you an example, and I will be sharing the screen with you, of course. New share this empty spreadsheet. Let's say you live in Canada, and then you live in the US. If you live in Canada, then you always write 1 USD equal to, let's say, Canadian dollar 1.231. Why so? Because in Canada, you would be making every sale and purchase in Canadian dollars. But if you write this thing, so this is a direct quote. Let me write a comment. This will be a direct quote in Canada. But if you write like this, 1231, in the US, it will be an indirect quote, and it will be a big mistake because in the US, for the transaction purposes, you never use Canadian dollars. So this will be indirect quote. It can lead to errors. Okay, so 1 US dollar is direct quote here, but the same thing in US would be indirect quote. What you would rather do that if you want to write 1 Canadian dollar in the US, let me quickly make a calculation. 1 divided by 1,231. So 1 Canadian dollar would be equal to USD 0.81, let's say 2. So this is the direct quote in the US. Why it's a direct quote? Because in the US, the Canadian dollar is an alien currency, and you make all the payments in the American dollars. Whereas if the same thing I write here for Canada, this will be a mistake, because in Canada you never make payments in the US dollar. So for Canada, it will be an sort of indirect quote. Thus can lead to an error of calculation. So therefore, whenever you are making any calculation and there are multiple currencies involved, always check out that which is your domestic currency, and whatever domestic currency you have should be on the right side. So I would say that 1 US dollar is equal to 1 Canadian dollar. So this is am I doing something silly? I think, yeah, equal to, okay, equal to. Now it's better. So 1 US dollar, this is right. So if it is right, I call it bold and black. But if I say 1 US dollar is this in USA, then it's a mistake. Similarly, if you are in USA and you are checking the price of 1 Canadian dollar and you are writing the price in the domestic currency of America, this is correct. But if you want to write 1 Canadian dollar is equal to this many USD in the US, yeah. So in Canada, this is a mistake. But here in the USA, this is the right way, because in the USA you use USD. If you write something in CAD, it's a mistake. In Canada, you use CAD, it's right, but in the Canada, if you write something in USD, it's a mistake. Okay, so it's very important for you to understand that which is a direct quote and which is an indirect quote, right? So we have a new share the slides. Yeah. So, and the premium is, so this is the example where you are going to buy 200,000 Canadian dollars after 3 months. If the bid is accepted, you buy 2 option contract, because one option is for 100,000 Canadian dollars. It's just technical information. I could have ignored it. The price the exchange rate of a Canadian dollar in American dollar is 0.855. So it's a direct quote because we are in America, and the price is given in the US dollars, which is perfectly fine. The premium is 0.1662. In other words, for every Canadian dollar, you have to pay a premium of 0.1662 USD. And since you are going to buy 200,000 Canadian dollars and 1 Canadian dollars premium price, the premium option premium is this much. So altogether, if you multiply with the full contract, so 200,000 multiplied by 0.1662, it makes 33,240 American dollars. This is the money which you pay as a total premium to the bank. And this money is paid in advance. We use the word paid upfront. And this is a non-refundable money. So if the Canadian company does not exercise, if the US company does not exercise the contract, your maximum loss can be 33,240. So 33,240 is the maximum amount of loss which the American company can have in a very bad situation when the option is out of the money. In that case, where you see what you have, this 2-cent loss when you're a buyer of a call option, only when the option is out of the money. 2 cents for 1 pound. But in this example, I take the full value of the contract, which is 200,000 Canadian dollars. So it means that the maximum amount which the American company can lose if the option is out of the money is 33,240. That's a floor of loss. Not a ceiling, but the floor. The maximum loss you can have is 33,240 American dollars. What happens? If the bid is successful, imagine you get a letter of or a call from this Canadian company who says, hey, congratulations. We are pleased to inform you that you are the buyer of this company. You have bought the contract. You are very jubilant. You are very happy. But something you check with the market. Hey, what if I had not bought the options? And if I had bought the Canadian dollar in the market, what would have been the situation? You check in the market. On that day of decision making, the 1 Canadian dollar is equal to 1.275 American dollars. Of course, it's a direct quote because you are living in America. And on the right-hand side, the price is shown in American dollars. Perfect. You multiply. If you buy 200,000 Canadian dollars in the open market and you multiply it with the exchange rate, then it would cost you 255,000 American dollars. Whereas when you were buying it with the option contract, you buy at a price 0.855. This is a strike price. It was agreed already in the beginning. See, it was given here. It was agreed 0.855. So I multiply 0.855 with 200,000. It comes out to be 171,000 American dollars, but plus you pay the premium upfront. Remember, the premium will always be counted. You exercise the option or you don't exercise the option. The premium is given, is out of your hands. And then I multiply the strike price, which is 0.855, and I take the full value. I multiply with the full value of contract, which is 200,000 Canadian dollars. It's 171,000 American dollars plus the premium, which I paid in the beginning. Altogether, it cost me, with option, it cost me 204,240. So if I exercise the option, the whole contract will cost me to buy 200,000 Canadian dollars. It cost me 204,240 American dollars, including everything, all inclusive. But if I had not bought the options, but remained at the mercy of the market, I could have paid this much. So I have two good news. The first good news is that I bought this Canadian company. And secondly, I saved almost 51,000 American dollars, and I can have a party for this money. So this is the beauty of option. Okay, so right in the beginning, you know that for sure that how much money you will lose maximum if the option is in the money, and that's a fixed premium. But even after adjusting for the premium in this example, it's good for you to exercise the option. So in this contract, the option is in the money because it's more wise to use the option rather than buy from the market. So it's a matter of common sense that it's much cheaper to buy from the broker, from the bank, rather than buying from the market. So you get the company bid successfully, and at the same time, you are saving a lot of money as well. This is the beauty of option. Of course, you can try with the other rates as well. So I gave you some other examples. Can we do it now? So imagine that the market, I can actually do it. So the Canadian dollars, how much you need? Canadian dollars? You need 200,000. 1, 2, 3, 200, 1, 2, 3, yeah. And if the price is 1 CAD equal to the USD, how many? 0.775. So if I multiply with yeah. Two, three. If the market actually, if the market price is 0.775, 0.775, then it will cost me how much? This multiplied by this. Then 200,000, you know, the Canadian dollars would cost me 155,000 American dollars. Okay, so if I exercise the option, then it will be 1 Canadian dollars is equal to, is it 0.855 for the strike price? The strike price is 0.855, yeah. So if the strike price is 0.855, I'm just doing some rough calculation. So then it would be this multiplied by this. So you can see that by exercising the option, you know, I'm going to pay more, but by not exercising the option, I pay less. So because here the strike price is more, and the market price is less, so it's better that I don't exercise the option. If I buy it from the broker, then I also have to add 33240. Was it 33240, the premium? Yeah, 33240. So if I use the option, I still have to pay the premium. So it will cost me this plus this. But if I don't buy, if I don't exercise the option, I buy from the market, I still have to forget this premium which I paid. So it will be equal to this plus this. So you can see that premium or no premium, my cost would be more by exercising the option. It'll be much bigger than by not exercising the option. So that is why, for me, it's enough to compare this with this to make a decision if I would exercise the option or not exercise the option. Because if I exercise the option, the premium would be added to the price. And if I don't exercise the option, then the premium which I paid in the beginning, remember, 33,240 is already paid to the bank. So it will not come back to you. Okay. So these things you should keep in mind when you are talking about the options. Yeah. So before the break, we were discussing a situation that there is a company based in the USA, and they made a bid for a Canadian company. And the Canadian company, if the bid is successful, the American company has to pay 200,000 Canadian dollars. And the Canadian company and the American company chose to do the, sorry, I'm having hiccup, chose to go for the call option. And the option strike price or the exercise price was 1 Canadian dollar for 0.855 American dollar, which is the home currency. And the premium for each Canadian dollar is the dollar USD 0.1662, and the premium upfront you pay to the broker or the bank is 33,240. So you know that the maximum amount the American company can lose in this whole option contract is 33,240 American dollars. And we took an example when the market price was Canadian dollar 1.275 and the company wins the bid. The company have two pieces of good news. Number one, it wins the bid. It owns a new company. But at the same time, the American company is able to save almost 51,000 USD by buying the option, the call option. But what if the bid is rejected? You get a news, you get a letter that I'm sorry to say that you will not be able to buy this company. So, well, of course, it's a heartbreaking. You are hoping that you will win the Canadian company and have your business operations in Canada as well. Well, it's a loss, nothing much you can do. But you can still win. How? Because you can, even though you don't need Canadian dollars, you can buy them by paying 204,240 American dollars, which is basically this amount which you get by adding the strike price plus the premium. So you can still, even though you don't need Canadian dollars, you can still exercise the call option and buy 200,000 Canadian dollars for this much amount of American dollars. And then, because the market price is 1.275, you can sell them in the market and earn 50,760 American dollars. So even though you have a heartbreak by losing the bid, but you can console yourself by earning something from the market. So this is why it's not just for the hedging purpose, but it can also be used for some speculative gains. So you may have some speculative gains as well in the call option situation. And now we move on. We will ignore some of the slides, and I would let you know which slides I ignored because of the time shortage, because we must complete this topic today. Next week when we meet, I think we have some other plans, other agendas. I think we have some kind of session where we have some We discuss the problems. Now we discuss about the currency put options. Remember that in the call option, in all the example, you need to pay somebody abroad. But what if you have to earn from abroad something? The money will come to you, but it's not coming instantaneously. It's not coming right now. It will come after an interval. And when you have to pay somebody abroad after an interval, you will be afraid of the foreign currency getting appreciated. But if you are going to earn money from abroad, maybe you are an exporter or a seller, whatever the situation is, the money will come to you in the foreign currency, but it will come after an interval. You are always scared of the foreign currency getting depreciated against the home currency. So in this case, you can go for the put option. Again, the put option you can buy from the market, like the futures, or you can buy from the bank, like a forward. Okay. And again, these conditions in the money, at the money will exist, but I go straight away to the example. Now, you are based in the USA, and the money which you will get, you're exporting something to Britain, and the British buyer would pay you in pounds, and you are afraid of pound getting depreciated against the home currency, which is a dollar. In this case, let's imagine that you you go to a bank and you explain the situation that we are going to earn some X amount of pounds, but after 3 months, 6 months, can I buy the option? Which option? Put option. Because in this case, the put option gives you the right, but not obligation, to sell a specified currency, which is the pound, specified amount, which you agree with the bank, specified rate of exchange, which is 1.50, the strike price or exercise price, and for the specified time period, which could be any time, 3 months, 3 years, who knows, 10 years, who knows. And then you are a buyer of put option. Remember, you are a buyer of put option. Look at a situation. On the day of decision making, when the British buyer would pay you, on that day, the market price in the market, you can sell a pound for 1.46. You can sell a pound for 1.46, whereas you have the right to sell the pound for 1.50 to the bank. What would you do? Remember, this time the money will come to you. The pounds, you don't have to pay pounds, the pounds will come to you. So you are earning pounds in this case, and you are based in the USA. And on the day of decision making, when you are planning to exercise the put option or not to exercise the put option, you see in the market that the market price of a pound is equal to 1.46 USD. Will you exercise the option or will you not? And the hint I can give you is that if I extend this line, I hope you can see the cursor. If the market price is 1.46, and if I extend this cursor on this payoff line, it seems that the American company, the exporter, would lose 1 cent. What does it mean? You will exercise the put option. How? You will lose that if you oh, it's the opposite, I think, for the seller of put option. This is the right. Yeah. So this is the for the buyer of put option. This is the right picture. If the market price is 1.46 and the broker is giving me 1.50, I will definitely sell to the broker. For how much? For 1.50. So the broker will give me 1.50, the market is giving me 1.46. I'm earning 4 cents because the market gives me 1.46, the broker gives me 1.50, broker or the bank, depends who you deal with. You earn 4 cents. But when I look at this graph, when I look at this line, it doesn't show 4 cents of gain. It only shows 1 cent of gain because I have paid a premium upfront, 3 cents in the beginning. So basically, when I exercise my put option, I'm not getting 1.50, I'm getting 1.47 because 3 cents I owe to the bank in the beginning. So I paid 3 cents. So I paid 3 cents to the bank in the beginning. The bank afterwards pay me 1.50. So in net terms, bank is giving me 1.47, whereas the market price is 1.46. 1.47 is more than 1.46. I would exercise the option, but my profit will be 1 cent. Okay. And when the market price is, let's say, 1.50. Okay. When the market price is 1.50, now I'm in a fix. Because if I exercise the put option, I basically get 1.47 from the broker or the bank, whereas the market could have given me 1.50. So I lose 3 cents. But if I choose not to go to the broker or the bank and exercise the option in the market, then I have to forget 3 cents, which I paid in the beginning. So exercise or not exercise, I'm losing 3 cents. But if the market price is 1.54, the market is giving me 1.54. And obviously 1.54 is more than 1.50. Definitely, I must not exercise the option. But if I don't exercise the option, then I have to forget the premium which I paid in the beginning. So basically, whether it's 1.52, 1.54, 1.60, I will not lose more than 3 cents. And who are these 3 cents? These 3 cents are my premium. So once again, it's like a stop loss situation that your loss will stop automatically at 3 cents. And the 3 cents are the premium. So you will not lose more than 3 cents. That's the beauty of put option. Whereas any price on the left side, I would exercise the option. It's good for me. So on this angular line, the option would be in the money because I'm exercising it. At exactly the angular point, the option is at the money, ATM. I exercise it or I don't exercise it, I lose 3 cents anyways. So it's like a point of neutrality or a point of indifference. But on the right side, when the market price is more than the strike price, definitely I repent. Why did I buy the option? In that case, I have to forget. I will not exercise the option because the market is giving me higher price than the broker is giving me. Market is giving me 1.54, 1.56, 1.58. The broker is giving me only 1.50. So why should I go to the broker? I just forget the put option. But when I forget the put option, there's a cost of forgetting. And the cost of forgetting is the 3-cent premium. So basically, I lose 3 cents throughout. So once again, when the option payoff is flat, parallel to x-axis, it becomes OTM, out of the money. But to the buyer of the option, the loss is not more than the premium. When the option payoff line is making an angle, then at the angular point, you are indifferent to exercise or not to exercise because you lose 3 cents anyways in each situation. Then the option is called ATM, at the money. But on the left side, when the market price is below the strike price, you must exercise the option. Okay, even though there's a loss, you must exercise the option because then you will gain, or your loss would be less than 3 cents. Imagine, I give you a fictitious situation. The market price is 148. Here, let's imagine that this is 148. When the market is giving you 1.48. Okay. The broker is giving you 1.50. So you gain more, 2 cents more than the market. But then you also have paid 3 cents in the beginning. So you lose 1 cent basically. So by exercising the option, you are losing 1 cent, but had you not exercised the option, you would have lost 3 cents. And 1 cent loss is better than 3 cent loss. Okay, so that's why when you compare exercisability of the option or non-exercisability of the option, don't see it from gain and loss. Sometimes you can even exercise the option when you have a loss, but that loss would be less loss than the otherwise loss of 3 cents. So yeah, so this is how the put option works. This looks like a reverse hockey stick, and this payoff has a limited downside, but the upside is also limited, even though the upside is much bigger than the downside. Okay, and if I just reverse this picture upside down, the mirror reflection, it becomes like this. So if you compare this picture with this picture, if this thing goes up and this thing goes down, it looks like this. And this is for the seller of put option, the one who sell. The seller could be a bank, if it is like a tailor-made OTC type of contract. The seller can be the option exchange, like we have CBOE in the beginning I mentioned, Chicago Board of Option Exchange. So in that case, we can have the option traded, the market traded options as well. So you can see that when in the previous example, when the market price is more than the strike price, you the buyer never exercise the option, and when you never exercise it, it's a gain for the seller. The seller, the bank would wish that you never come to exercise the option. Okay, but if the market price is lesser than the strike price, then you gain. You mean the company gain, but the bank loses. Imagine the market price is 1.40 and the strike price is 1.50. It means that the bank gives you 1.50 for every pound, and when it sells that pound in the market, it only gets 1.40. So it's a bank's loss and your gain. Okay, so that's why you can see that the bank would never gain more than 3 cents. Whereas the bank can lose much bigger amount than 3 cents. Okay, so this is the payoff of the put option. for the seller of the put option, and this is the payoff of the buyer of the put option. If you know one of them, you just have to reverse the other picture. The buyer gains when the options are in the money. It's good for the buyers. It's bad for the seller if the option is in the money. It's bad for the buyer if the option is OTM, out of the money. But it's good for the seller if the option is out of the money, because then you don't exercise and the seller keeps all the premium with himself. Okay, so this is how the options work, the call and the put. And once again, you ignore slide 20, 21, 20, yeah, 22. We need to learn a little bit. This time I make a small change to it. This time you are an American company, of course, based in the US, and your domestic currency is American dollar. And you are going to receive a bid from a Canadian company. So this time the Canadian company is willing to buy you. The deal is that if the Canadian company wins the contract, they will pay you in their domestic currency. So if you sell your company to this Canadian firm, you will be getting 200,000 Canadian dollars, but you don't know before 3 months if this is true or not. They may choose not to buy you. So it means that you may get 200,000 Canadian dollars after 3 months. So you're afraid that the exchange rate of Canadian dollar against USD may depreciate. So what you do, you go to the bank or a broker and make a, you have 2 put option contract. Why write 2 put option contracts? Because the one option contract is 100,000 Canadian dollars for the Canadian dollars vis-a-vis USA. And because it's 200,000, so you buy 2 option contract. And the exercise price is 1 Canadian dollar equal to 0.895 USD. And again, it's a direct quote because you are in the US. All the prices should be shown in American dollars. So it's a direct quote. And the premium you pay is 0.0006 for each Canadian dollar. So it means that if you multiply this $0.00062 with 200,000 Canadian dollars, the option premium is 120. So now you know for sure that in this entire contract, you will not lose more than $120, which is just peanuts, nothing. Imagine the Canadian company buys you, your project or your company, and they pay you 200,000 Canadian dollars as agreed. But on that day, when the Canadian company pays you, on that day, the 1 Canadian dollar is selling for 0.850 American dollars. So it means that if you have sold 200,000 Canadian dollars in the market, and had you not taken the option contract, you would have got 170,000 American dollars. But with the option contract, you have this strike price, which is this, that's the strike price. The agreement price was this, yeah. So you multiply with 200,000. Of course, in the put option, because you are getting the money, so you need to pay the premium, so you minus. Remember, in the call option, we add the premium, because in the call option, you pay something plus the premium you pay. So there are 2 payments, you add them. The premium is added. But in the put option, you get something, but you have to pay the premium to the bank still. So here we minus the premium. It means that altogether you get this much money when you are having the put option. And this flow, this cash inflow is higher than this cash inflow, which you could have got if you were unhedged. And in this contract, you have gained 880 880 American dollars in this contract. So it's good for you. So this is how the put option work. And you can try with the other rates of exchange as well. So this is everything about the put option. But before I answer, if you have any questions, before I answer that, I want to clarify that today was the last lecture session, and you count out slide 9, 10, 11, 12, and then you count out slide 20, 21, and that's it. And besides, the swap contract is not in your syllabus. Okay, so you should finish your learning of this topic at slide 24, but you also minus the other slides which I just named, which you don't have to read. Okay, so this is quite a shorter version of the risk management topic. Swap, I wish I could have, but I find that we have done enough of work for this course. So maybe those who study finance track, I can explain more to them about this. But coming back to the options, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to ask.